keep it in the place and then go. And in India, if you ask a lady who comes to your house as a guest and tells her, wife, do help me do the dishes after the dinner, she will never come to your town, let alone your house, as if it is a ghost haunted house. If you ask somebody to do the dishes after dinner, nobody will come to your house. But the point is, it is a very normal, day-to-day matter in the British system. So nobody feels offended. Whereas in India, you will feel offended. So even at NITK, when I asked my high-fi Indian lady student, they wouldn't tell me what I meant by help me do the dishes after dinner. Now I say this because learning English through the textbook may be only 40%. These days, the teachers have to learn as well as the teachers have to learn and then teach, and the students also have to learn that. For example, today, when we get angry in the classroom, we say, "You stupid, sit down." But in the Western society, these days, stupid is not used. They would say, cerebrally challenged, not stupid. If you scold a lady student, a girl student in the 9th standard, and if the girl's mother happens to be a highly educated American, she would come and tell you, "What is this, ma'am? You call my daughter stupid." You have to say, cerebrally challenged. In the same way, you can't say, "I will go and meet my old boss." If you say, "I have to go and meet my old boss," and if your colleague carries a tail and tells the boss he was referring to you as old, either you may not get a promotion or you may even lose a job. So these days they don't say old boss, they say hair disadvantage. No hair disadvantage, not old. Sorry, bald. Bald is hair disadvantage. Sorry, old is hair disadvantage. Bald is
old.
Chronologically gifted. Old. You can't say old. You say, "I have to go and meet my chronologically gifted boss." He is old, but in terms of chronology, in terms of years, he has seen more years than you have done, so it is chronologically gifted and hair disadvantage. Bald, hair disadvantage, old, chronologically gifted. Now, remember, these are not a matter of joke. If you read the Times of India or the American magazine Time, they have stopped using the word chairman or chairwoman or chairperson long ago. No longer is the word chairwoman or chairperson used. First it was chairman and then chairwoman. But the feminists pointed out, you can't say chairwoman because even in the word woman, you have a man, W-O-M-A-N. Why this bloody man even inside a woman? Can't say. So then they coined the phrase chairperson. They again objected. You say chairperson, P-E-R-S-O-N. Why that idiotic son? Why not daughter? Why do you say chairperson? Why not daughter? Now, really, Time magazine doesn't use the word chairperson. It uses the word chair. That is all. Chair. Yes. An Indian NRI couple staying in America made a lot of money, millions of dollars. They gifted $75 million to an institution. And this news was flashed in the Times of India. An Indian NRI couple donating $75 million to an institution. And the news was printed in the newspaper, the Times of India, and it said, the chair of the committee. She was a lady, no chairperson. Now I say all these things because unless you are on the lookout for the latest changes in the English language, it may be very difficult. Today in India we don't use the word physically handicapped, you know that. No, never. You can never use the word physically handicapped even in a government communication. The government may serve a notice to you if you use the word physically handicapped. You have to say physically challenged. Physically challenged. You can't say in the same way scavenger. You can't say in the government college, we have 2 vacancy scavenger posts vacant in our college. You have to say sanitary engineer. They feel offended. If you use the word scavenger, they feel offended. Because it's a matter of political correctness is not a matter of language. It's a matter of ethics. It's a matter of morality. It is a matter of human dignity. Some 3 or 4 decades ago, Shivaram Karad was attacked for one of his books. In one of his textbooks, he had used the word Latapata Acharya something. Really, it happened. In the entire coastal Karnataka, the carpenter community stood against him. It became a big movement. Karand was attacked because the words he used, the community felt were insulting, offensive to their dignity, to their prestige. So these days, it is really a challenge. The same is true of husband, wife, spouse. I narrate one incident which really happened some 30 years ago or so. When I was at the English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad. Earlier it was CIEFL. I was there for the course in English language teaching. And we were 3 in a, while chatting. There was a lady from Kerala. Her husband was a very famous film director. One of his films had got a national award, and the title of the film in English means The Donkey Which Came to the City or something. She was a very high-fi lady. And we were talking, I and that lady and someone else. And then another lady came, then her husband came. I remember his name, one Mr. John. Her husband came. He had come to visit her. And then the lady came and asked her, oh, is this your husband? Is this your husband? She didn't say anything. She just nodded her head. And after the lady left, she told me, look, Bhaskar, her vocabulary is limited. She knows only husband and wife, no other word. One need not be just a husband and a wife or a spouse. And this became again a problem when Nelson Mandela got divorced from Winnie Mandela. You know this, Nelson Mandela, in the evening of his life, he got divorced from Winnie Mandela. And then another lady appeared in his life. She entered, another lady entered his life. And she was a 50-year young lady who would accompany him on all the public platforms. Mandela was a international celebrity. Now, how should the media report this? A lady standing beside Nelson Mandela. She was not his wife. She was not his girlfriend. Understand? She was not his mistress. So what word to use? The word they used was the lady's name, companion, Nelson Mandela's companion standing there. Companion, not wife, husband. Husband, wife, spouse, these words have become outdated in the Western society. That is why I was telling the gathering the other day, you can say, I think I am in love with you, and tomorrow you can say, I don't think, because tomorrow you can tell someone, tomorrow, not today. Yesterday I said I was in love with you. Tomorrow I can say, I am in love with someone else. And that is why there are what are called weekend marriages. These are social realities. On Friday evening, 2 guys get married. Saturday and Sunday, they are together. Both days are first nights for them. Monday morning, they apply for a divorce. Finished. I am saying this because English language teaching is now spreading in all these angles. I remember a Canadian friend of mine to whom I taught English for a few months and later Kannada for a few months. I remember that Canadian who had come to Manipal to study medicine. I remember him sitting with me along with his latest then girlfriend and telling her, look here, you are the 32nd girlfriend of mine. She was the 32nd. He was counting. It is okay with that society. But I say this because English teaching these days is not just a matter of English language teaching, it is a matter of English sociological, cultural values also. So an English teacher has to be more careful these days while in the classroom with the students because students get very easily offended. In one of the schools, a lady teacher, a few years ago, scolded NSC boy, saying, you sit quiet, sit down. I know you go and pick the waste leaves during those days. After a dinner, the banana leaves would be thrown and those people would come and pick up food crumbs and take. That went up to the director of education. The boy's parents came to the school and took the lady to task for using a defamatory word regarding their community. Anyway, I know you are all struggling with different methods of teaching. And these days, along with the methods of teaching, the body language also counts. What we consider, in one of the poems in your view, The Water, there is a mention of a lady who actually lifted something to carry, which the other community fellow mistook for an attack, and there was a communal riot. She didn't say anything, just a body gesture. So what we call paralinguistic features or body language, a teacher has to be careful even about his or her body language. Students report back home in a different way. So I always say this, English teaching these days is really a tough job, especially because of we can't do anything about it, you and me cannot do anything about it. It is a fact, it is a hard fact. Now this overconfidence, problem of social demoralizing factors arises because of one more factor, which I call over-evaluation of students' performances. You are bound to over-evaluate. In my granddaughter's institution, in a class of 50, almost 40, above 40 students get 90 plus. My daughter-in-law came the other day and told me, Aja, I have got 98.2%. She was jumping, 98.2%. Everybody must be given 90 plus. It happened in a neighboring, I don't want to mention the name of the college. At an engineering college, students went to the management and complained about the faculty not giving them enough marks. So the faculty all came together. Even though teachers are not very rich, they are very rich in their power of evaluation. So all the teachers came together and we decided to give very high marks. So the next year onwards, every engineering student got distinction. For a few years, wonderful performance. And when they appeared for an interview at Bangalore, at a company, many of them were not selected because their performance was over-evaluated and they failed miserably before the interview committee. Do you get me? So unless over-evaluation is done, management won't be happy. So when I was at NITK, believe it or not, they would get distinction above 75 or 80%, almost all the students. If in a class there were 80 students, almost 60 students would get distinction, first class with distinction. When that was the case, if I gave B plus in their English communication grade, what would happen? They would not get the call letter. Call letter is interview card. So in order to make them reach the interview table, I had to give them almost equal number of marks. So I would give them generously, like distributing wheat and rice and kerosene in our ration shops, distribute marks. I would give them 80, 75, 82. But when I gave the answer books to them, I would write on the blackboard 85% minus 25% is your actual level. If a student had got 72%, I would write minus 20%. 52 is your actual valuation. Because if you go and tell your parents, I have got 90 plus, 80 plus in mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, instrumentation, computer engineering, everything, and only 47 in English communication, they would say, what is this? We have spent lakhs on your English medium schools. You have learnt English from the kindergarten up to your plus PU level for more than 1,200 hours. You know this. A student learns English language as such for not less than 1,200 hours during his school and PU days. And he, after learning English for 1,200 hours English, and other subjects are also taught through the medium of English. If you calculate that, it may be quite a few thousand hours of exposure to English. Even after that, their English is not up to mark. I say this is a problem, but you as English lecturers have to cater the society, the parents, and more than all, the pre-registered board, which sanctions your salary bills. And I always say this, in England, when I got my master's in applied linguistics, the certificate, my master's certificate, says, I don't know if I have got this, says, the university on this day has awarded the degree MAD education to Bhaskara Rao, who has satisfied the examiners. My certificate from England, which has global validity, I can be an English teacher to English teachers anywhere on this earth. That is the validity of the qualification. My African classmate, a young man called Jimmy, when he went back from Manchester to his country, he told me, Bhaskar, I would be appointed secretary to the Minister for Education in his country. The degree from Manchester would fetch him the position of secretary to the Minister for Education back home. And that certificate says, has satisfied the examiners. No first class, no second class, no distinction, no 90%, no 100%. These days, students are given 100 out of 100 in English. I don't think even Shakespeare would have got 100 out of 100. Now, what does this mean? The job of an English teacher is really very, very, very tough. Unless you satisfy all these disgruntled elements of different kinds, you can't survive. So I tell the people, I used to tell my students, look here, I have given you 20 out of 25, but actually you deserve 11 marks. Because you will know this when you apply for an international scholarship or a job. Some of you may have heard of this. These days, a candidate is appointed based on what is called statement of purpose. Have you heard of this? Every candidate, along with his CV, resume, RESUME, American for British CV, is pronounced by 99.99% of the people, including the appointing companies, they say, send your resume, it is not resume, sorry, send your resume, it is not resume, it is resume, EI. Now, anyway, along with the resume, they have to send a statement of purpose. A statement of purpose is a single page, A4 size page written piece where the candidate has to say what he will do if he is given that job or if he is given that scholarship. This actually happened when I applied for the British Council scholarship 37 years ago. They sent me the application form, and in one of the columns there was a little larger space where they had written, write here what you would like to do in England. Write here what you would like to do in England. And below there was a note. What you write here will be read by experts in London. That was the note. What you write here would be read by experts in London, because my scholarship was actually given by the Hornby Trust. You know who is Hornby? Hornby is one of the 3 editors of the Oxford Dictionary. And all over the world, Oxford University Press makes money by the sale of 2 books. One is the Oxford Dictionary, second is the Bible. The maximum number of books sold. So the application form said, what you write here will be read by experts in London. And I got the clue, because my scholarship, whether I would get it or not, would depend on not my first class, second rank, Mysore University, not my B plus from Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages, but what I write on that sheet of paper. Believe it or not, I took 12 days, and also it said you can use any number of technical terms, because it was a scholarship for an English teacher. So naturally, in English teaching, there are certain technical terms. So the scholarship said you can use any number of technical terms. So I brushed up my memory. I went through all my Hyderabad English language teaching course books. I brushed up, sat down, wrote a statement, took 12 full days to draft that statement. And that statement, I have a copy of it, and that statement is a single sentence. There is only one full stop at the end of the sentence. And if you know, it is not an easy job when you make a long sentence with one single full stop. That can be done, that is done only at the highest level of research and research papers, because you have got so many things to say. You can't say, I will do this, I will do that, like a primary student. So whatever you have to say, you have to thrust all that into that one single paper, into that one single page. It must be, in the real sense of the term, a very highly dense page. You have to put all that into it. So I put all that into that, took 12 days to draft that one single page statement of purpose. Believe it or not, after 2 weeks, I got a letter saying I was selected for the British Council scholarship. Do you know why I am saying this? It may be your children, maybe after 20 years, it may be your grandchildren. If at all you set your eyes on any international assignment, on any international scholarship, on any international fellowship, your candidate's English must be really perfect. When I say perfect, I remember one last incident. I appeared for an interview at the Mysore University some 45 years ago, along with my professor who taught me at my MA English course, Professor Bhaskara Rao, who was the principal of Purnapacha Evening College before he went to Mysore University. He taught me when I was in MA for a year. Along with him, I applied for a university lecturer's job at the Mysore University. And the Vice Chancellor was there in the committee. Professor C.D. Narasimha was there. Professor C.D. Narasimha was educated at Cambridge. He had a degree from Cambridge. And when I went to England, I went to Cambridge University just to see the English department where Professor C.D. Narasimha was a student. I made it a point to see that. So Professor C.D.N. was there, Vice Chancellor, and there was an expert from Pune University, an English professor. And he took up my application. And the applications during those days were cyclostyle. They were not photocopied like now. And on the cyclostyle typed application form, it was written application for the post of lecturership, readership, or professorship. I struck off the other two and ticked the lecturership. And in the interview, Professor Nagraj pointed at the word and said, Mr. Rao, you have written lecturership, but it is not lecturership, it is lectureship. Readership, professorship, but lectureship, not lecturership. That evening, I used to go for a walk with Professor C.D.M. during those days for a few months. In the evening, I told my professor, sir, I am very sorry.